how do you take profits, with a profit target at 3 different levels, at 3 different profit taking distances or prices. So, all right, yeah. So let's cancel this all out here, right? So when you're trading multiple contracts, right? So for example, you're trading multiple contracts and you want to scale out of your multiple contracts at different price levels. That's what order sets are for, right? That's why even NinjaTrader's ATM, right? You create multiple order sets. So what you do is you have to decide ahead of time, how many contracts are going to be in your first profit target. So let's see, the first profit target is 20 ticks. So let's use the 10 tick one to get us started, and then we'll open up the profit target and go into the initial placement and then increase the offset to 20 ticks down here, right? So there is our 20 tick profit target. And so you just have to decide, well, how many contracts do you want in that 20 tick profit target? So, all right. And the stop loss is going to be 30 ticks with trailing. All right. So let's go to the stop loss here. We'll go down to the trailing, and let's just use the 10 tick trailing here to get us started. And then we'll open up the stop loss and adjust the offset from 10 ticks, right? And we will adjust it down to negative 30 ticks, like so, right? And the trailing actions, so since this is just a flat 30 tick trailing here, we can just use the standard trailing, right? So this will be just a standard 30 tick trailing, right? Nothing fancy there. And so there we go. So there's our 20 tick profit target, our 30 tick stop loss. And so now to create the other profit targets, right? So the 30 tick profit and the 60 tick profit, we now create another order set, right? So this profit target is linked to this stop loss, right, with an OCO. And so now we need to go and create the other profit targets. So we can make a copy of A. So the easiest way to do this is copy A, and then we go into our profit target. Let's go back to the options tab here, and in the initial placement, right now it's set to 20 ticks, so we can now increase that up to 30 ticks, like so, right there. And so there, that would be our 30 tick profit target. And again, determine how many contracts do you want this 30 tick profit target to have, right? And of course, this 30 tick profit target and this stop loss, these are linked together with an OCO order. And then finally, to get to the last profit target of 60 ticks, again, we're going to go down to the copy, and we can copy B, open up the profit target one more time, open up the initial placement, right? And, just type in 60 ticks there. And there we go. And all the stop losses are the same, so we didn't have to make any modifications to the stop losses. And there you go. So there's 1, 2, 3 contracts, each with a different profit target distance. So let's see here. So let's see, limit order. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Raj wants to use a limit order. You want a limit order at the high of the previous bar. Okay. So, all right. So, yeah. So if you don't want to use a market entry, then we can go in here and adjust the entry order type to a limit order. And then for the placement, right? So we don't want to place it at the close of the bar. We want to place it at the high of the previous bar. So our look back period has to be 2. So a look back period of 1 is going to be the current bar's high. So there's no such thing as a look back period of 0, right? A period always has to start with 1. So you set the look back period to 2 and just use the single value process. So that's just going to find the high price of the second bar back. So, and then the opposite here is already set up for you. So if it's a short trade, right, it's going to set that limit order at the low of the second bar back. All right. So there we go. And of course we'd have to go in and modify the other entry orders now as well. So let's set the order type to limit and go in and adjust the initial placement. So we want the high of 2 bars back. There we go. And let's adjust this last one here. So limit order and set it to the high of the second bar. And there we go. All right. So now we have the limit orders set up as well. And also how to set up a BloodHound signal. Yep. So you just go into the signal section here, right? And select BloodHound signal. And then in the template file, click on the little 3 dots there, the little ellipses button. All right, click on that, and you can see that opens up BloodHound, and that's where you can load, whatever BloodHound signals, you want to load in there. So let's see here, I'll load in my little crossover system there, the 930 crossover. Can load that in there. Also, it's good practice to double check your entry signals here, and make sure everything looks like it's connected correctly. So just take a quick look. Right, obviously this is just a crossover system, so nothing complicated about it, but if you have a more complex system, then it's a good idea just to take a quick look at the system and make sure everything looks like it's connected correctly, within the BloodHound system there. All right, and click OK. And then from the entry signals here, select the logic template for the actual entry signals. Right? And there you have it. So that's how you would bring in your BloodHound signals. Raj is asking, what does single value mean? So here, let's go to the help document, and you can pull up the documentation. All right, so that is a part of the order sets, part of the menu here. Right, so let's take a look at the BloodHound documentation here. So if we click on the order settings window here, right, we have a screenshot, all right, of the BlackBird, right, user interface here. And we can see, right, this image breaks down the 3 different sections, right? So we have the management buttons on top, the trade signals in the middle, right? That's where you would plug in your BloodHound signals or some other, custom indicator. And then we have the order sets, down here in the middle. So, right, so the single value, right, that's a part of the order sets here. So we can scroll down, and right there we can see that this turns into a link here. So we can click on that, right, and we can see that takes us to the order sets page, that's listed down here on the menu system. And we can scroll down, and let's see here. There we go. So that is a part of the select input window. So let's go back to BlackBird here. Open this up. Yeah. So this, this menu here, selects the, is part of the, select input menu, I guess. So, part of the select input window. And if we click on that, all right, there you go. So we have a little visual as well. And the mode just happens to be set to price there. All right. So here, so if the mode is set to price, right, here's the menus when that mode is set to price. But if the mode is set to indicator value, right, then these are the options for, when it's set to indicator value. And if that mode is set to swing point prices, right, here's an explanation of what all those options do. Right, so again, what we're talking about is if we go back into the initial placement here, right, you can see there's a mode, a select mode here, and we have price, indicator value, swing point prices, and linear regression channel. Right, so those four different mode options there. Right, and that is what we see here, is those 4 different mode options here, and an explanation of each of them, with the various settings there. Oh, and of course, on that same menu window, right, there's the offset section, right? So the offset section is down here, whereas the input section, is on top, right? So this explains, the offset section and how that works. So if you were ever curious, what this indicator section is for, right? Well, here you go. Just open up the indicator, and that explains, what type of indicators to use in that part of the menu. So, but anyways, getting back to Raj's question here. So, all right, so we are using the price mode, and so the process look back is what he was asking. So there you go. So single value, right? So this returns the price from a historical bar, reference by the look back period. So it's just, so in other words, it's just the single value, from the bar, from the bar identified from the look back period, right? So remember, it says period. So with indicators, period has a meaning. So, right. So if you have a look back period of 3, then that means looking back 3 bars. So how do you decide what you do with those 3 bars? So single value means you just grab the value of the last bar in that look back period, right? But some other things you can do is you can average those 3 bars, of the look back period, right? You can average those prices of the look back period, or you can grab the maximum value or the highest price of that look back period, or you can grab the lowest or the minimum value of that look back period, right? So there's lots of different ways to decide what do you do, with a look back period, right? And so there is the single value, right? And so you just wanted to use the high price of the second bar back, right? So not the high of the signal bar, but you wanted to use the high of the bar prior to the signal bar, right? So the signal bar would be a look back period of 1. that would be the signal bar. So if you want to go back one bar behind the signal bar, then you would increase it by 2 and grab the individual high price of that single bar. All right.